Original Firefighter is the podcast and apparel brand that celebrates the heritage and traditions of the American Fire Service. Join us each week for lively discussions that aim to inspire, educate, and entertain, all in the effort to support mental health and well-being for first responders. Please subscribe, hit that bell, and follow us wherever you listen. Let's get into the show. Hey folks, welcome to the Original Firefighter Podcast Show. I am your host, Will Peterson, and I've got a great episode today because in this studio are some of my best friends. We are going to have a great conversation that's going to go in 3 or 4 different ways. I'll get into all that in a minute. I'm going to do some quick introductions. Over here to my left, I've got, he was once offered the role of Goose in the original Top Gun, but bowed out upon learning he wouldn't show up in the sequel. This is Kyle Hill back in our studio. What do you think, Kyle? How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Thanks
Good.
for that
All
introduction.
Right. Moving across the table, he is a thinner, taller, more alive version of Chris Farley. It's Brad Steele. Welcome to the show, Brad.
Wow.
Good to see you, man.
Thanks.
And across from me directly, and finally, he was the little friend that Al Pacino in Scarface was referring to, Mr. Tony Torbey. How are you doing, man?
Fantastic.
Good to see you guys.
Are you referring to his guns?
You write this material yourself?
Of course I do.
Oh, okay.
It's original.
That's the best introduction
It's
ever.
called Original Firefighter for a reason.
Okay.
All right. So let's do this. How you guys feeling today?
Great.
Awesome.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So the main point of having you guys come on the show today was that as I was thinking about how to, bring us all together, I was thinking about all the time in the past that we'd spent together doing just a variety of things. But then before any of those things happened, like you, Tony and Brad, you guys knew each other before we met each other. And you guys had already established some of the best things you guys have ever done. As far as friends go, we'll get into that in a minute. And then Kyle and I, we knew each other, obviously, from the fire service. And as we started to just move along in adulthood, our intersections ended up crossing, and we ended up doing we've done so many fun things, whether it be hiking and going off and traveling together, or just sitting around enjoying bourbon, or talking about, the businesses and things that we create together. And so what I thought was man, my friends are extremely creative. I wanted to dive into that. So
where are they?
Where are they? I suppose we should probably do one thing first, though, shouldn't we? And that is when we're always together, we do partake in some bourbon. So should we do that?
I quit drinking last night.
Did you? You never touched this stuff?
Never heard of it. I'd be willing to try some.
Okay, great. Yeah, you guys are being super helpful.
You better have some good shit.
Yeah.
So would you get it?
Well, so here's the deal. I did choose this bourbon for this episode for a reason. It is his favorite, and lately you've been talking about how this bourbon creator has come so far with their. They've changed some of their approach to doing bourbon, and you're going to explain some of that, I think, for that. So I have a private select of Maker's Mark. This is the Biscuit.
Nice.
Yeah, and I think we're going to do that. In fact, Kyle, I think since it is your favorite, we're going to let you open that. I have never had this.
Smells like wet dog.
Which one is this one?
Biscuit.
Biscuit.
Taste the biscuit.
Oh, Biscuit was a horse, wasn't he?
Sea biscuit.
Yeah, that's what it smells like, sea biscuit.
It smells like the sea biscuit.
Is the pirate's favorite letter?
R.
You'd think it would be the R.
It's the sea.
It's the C.
Okay. Tony and Brad, how'd you guys meet? Where'd you guys start off from?
He and I worked together. We worked for an insurance company.
In St. Louis, Missouri.
And I was a badass, and he was just a regular insurance guy. And I said, listen, you're way better than that. And he and I decided to start a partnership and built a monster insurance agency and became friends. And yeah, what about 24 years ago?
24 years.
24 years. Mm-hmm. Loud.
24 years. It's a long time.
Yeah. Yeah. He was so far ahead of his time, technologically advanced beyond belief. He had, what kind of car do you have? A Maxima? What was that little piece of crap car you drove?
I don't remember.
But he had something where he could actually watch DVDs in the front, like plugged into his car.
Nowadays, it's just called the car.
Yeah, I know.
I have the
in
little
all of
cassette that went in there with the wires coming
While
out.
he's driving, it's like, oh, and he was the best because so he races bikes and stuff, and he'd call me up. He's like, man, I decided I didn't want to work, and so I went racing bikes, and I took a big jump and something, and I broke my arm. What do I tell him? I said, I don't know. Tell him you're knocking on a, because we used to go door to door selling Medicare supplements and life insurance. I said, just tell him that you were leaving the lady's house and you fell down the stairs.
Okay, but you guys were doing your own thing as far as what, selling insurance or?
Yeah. We started with a company, and then they taught us real well, but there was just no money in it, and we were going broke. So he and I literally, he still has it, met at Applebee's, and I put our plan for the future together on yellow manila, not envelopes, but the yellow highlighted paper, whatever.
Yeah,
Wrote
like a
it all
legal
up.
pad?
He still has them.
Yeah.
22 years later.
And how close to that is it?
Pretty good. I mean, we've built.
Spot on.
We built, at one point, we had about 600 guys working for us. We were having inbound telemarketing where people were calling us because we had TV ads everywhere. And I mean, we were killing it. And now, I don't know. I quit babysitting. He quit babysitting. But no, there for a while, man, we were growing it like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So your model is pretty close to what you had listed on that legal pad?
Probably, I'd say 90%, 95% accurate.
It's crazy how you can find somebody like Tony or whatnot, and we can build a business together. But a lot of the people that we had on board that you just, like you said, you stop babysitting them, and they're gone. Like it takes a special kind of person to be that person and know that they're going to be there every single day, because it's not like you wake up and there's somebody going to be, firing you if you're not there. But that's all on you.
Right.
100% of the time. And being self-employed, nobody wants to do that. People aren't ready for that.
No, they're not. Well, I mean, we're going to do a kind of a deeper dive into that. But to your point, Brad, is like, so if you have 600 employees, and then
agents,
you and Tony
agents,
are
not
agents,
employees, but
They're
or
independent.
agents, they're independent,
we just pay them
but
commissions.
right. But you basically are wrangling them in to make sure that they're on the phones doing the things that need to be done in order to make a profit, right?
Yep.
And so the second that you take that, take your eye off of it, what happens?
They start stealing from you.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah.
We had a lot of that.
Oh, boy.
I don't even know how many tens of thousands of dollars we've had to pay back to insurance companies because these people were writing up fake policies. I mean, it's just, when you find out or they write good policies, but business went bad and they have to pay the commissions back. Well, if they don't pay it back, guess it goes up to the bosses.
Which we did
Right.
not know about at the time.
That wasn't on the legal pad.
That wasn't on the legal
And
pad.
if we don't pay it back, then the insurance company, they pretty much blackball you and you can't get any other contracts. So you have to eat crow and you got to pay it back and move on. But we had a lot of fun. Like our agency, when we hired people, if they worked in-house, because we probably had 12 people in-house, maybe 14 people in-house. The rest were across the country. Mm-hmm. But we had to double interview them to make sure that they knew we are not politically correct. We are not socially correct.
Which is why we're friends.
And the business manager is the worst. She will randomly do things that you're like, what is going on right now? And people would get offended. So you had to make sure that you had the right kind of team that could handle that kind of stuff.
It was like the Wolf of Wall Street.
Oh, dude, it was,
Oh, God,
You know what? It was,
Atmosphere.
Less cocaine.
it was a lot less.
Was your last, I'm not leaving.
It was a dumbed down version of Wolf of Wall Street. Obviously, we didn't have that kind of funds and money, but every once in a while you'd hear this. And when you heard that, everybody went running because that was our office manager who ended up being my wife. It's like, oh my God, what now?
It got to the point where we had a sexual harassment consent form. That all the
You
employees
agree to it in order to
you
work
have
there.
to agree.
Like you had to be okay with it.
You had to be okay with it.
The best
Jeez.
part is
we have a form.
I don't know if that would fly with what you and I do.
No, we have what's called the hurt feelings form
Yes.
that you fill out when your feelings get hurt.
Oh, we didn't care.
Yeah. Oh,
we
can
were
I get
just
a
inappropriate.
Can I
We
get a
just
copy of
didn't care.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
I'll
I
send
need
it over,
one
but
in my
you'll need
current.
multiple copies
The
of it.
things we did in that
I just need
office.
one. I'll copy it.
Is this going to go live or is this just stay between us four?
This goes live.
No, this is going to be live.
All right, well, I'm going to tell y'all something, but you can't repeat it.
Okay, good. Okay, got it.
Cut here.
The things we would do, he'd be seeing a client or I'd be seeing a client, and we would do things to get each others to laugh while the clients couldn't see us. I'm not going to tell you what we would do because he would never close his freaking door, and the whole office could hear him talking to his clients. And so I'm like, really, man, close your daggone door. So instead of me closing it, I would do things. So Brad and I are like, great friends, business partners, all that stuff. And you butt heads when you're business partners. Like we've been business partners for 22 years. We've known each other for 24.
Yeah.
And we've now gone into another venture as well. But the biggest thing I remember to this day, there was something that happened. I don't know what it was. And Brad's a big dude. And you've heard of Cockstrong. Brad has probably never lifted a weight in his life.
I've wrestled him.
Yeah. And at my house. I remember that. I thought he was going to kill you. You put up a good fight, though.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
If I lose, I'll lose. That's fine. But someone's going to have a scar.
So I'm walking down the hall,
I forgot about
Brad is pissed off at me about something. I'm sure I made a very, very sound financial decision that he didn't like. And as he's walking past me, the hallway's 5 feet wide. He literally just pushes me. I go through the drywall. Like there was a hole in the freaking drywall.
It looked like this.
And as soon
it was easy for the coroner to outline it.
As soon as he did it, he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Push me back.
Never again.
Punch me in the balls. Do whatever. I didn't mean to do it." I'm like, "Bro, it's okay, but like seriously?"
Yeah.
We got to now pay $200 to get the freaking drywall fixed.
Now I would have done it for free.
But anyway, we've had a great partnership. Cheers to that, bro.
And here's something that I know you guys also were part of. So I think we have a photo of the van that you guys worked on together.
Oh,
yeah. I think that
our Kentucky van.
The Kentucky van.
Yeah, we still. Now that I live down there, most of the time.
Yeah.
That thing is cool.
I'm about to gut it and redo it.
So what's the story with this? This van.
Me and my two brothers bought.
Did you guys live in this van?
We
down by a river.
Yeah, we did worse.
Okay.
Oh God.
I did. I'm Chris. I am Chris Farley.
Leopard.
See what I did there?
Yeah.
Me and my two brothers bought that. I think for like each one of us threw in $200 or $1,200, and it was like the A-Team van. It was white and with a gray stripe. And then one day, Brad and I had decided that we're going to start restoring cars. I know how to drive a car. We're going to restore it. Hell, I don't even know how to change oil, but okay, let's go. And so I told my brother, I said, "Hey, y'all pay to get this van up here, and y'all pay for the cost of restoration, and Brad and I will do it all." And I think it cost us about $5,000-$6,000 to bring it to like that. It was unbelievable. He just mailed me his credit card. We would go into Farm and Fleet, or we'd go into Advanced Auto, and his name is Orif Michael Torbey. His name is Brad Steele.
I don't look like an Orif.
And Brad literally hands her the card to buy like $600 worth of stuff, and she goes, can I see your driver's license?" He's like, "Sure."
I forgot.
He hands it to the lady. She's like, "Thank you." And I'm like, "You got to be kidding me. Is this like for real right now?" But
yeah, be confident with it.
So we still use that van. It's still.
Yeah, I've got to.
The tailgating van now?
Yeah, it's a tailgating van. I've got to, enjoy being at a couple games, and we bring that through the UK parking lot at Kroger Stadium, right?
Commonwealth. Yeah, Commonwealth Stadium, Kroger Field,
yeah. Right? And man, I tell you what, I mean, everyone loves it.
It's better.
And there's a lot of other, decked out tents and vehicles and whatnot, but this one gets a lot of shout outs.
School. It's got all the old school logos, and we tore it up.
So, and then to continue on, so I think Brad, you're restoring this truck, maybe. So you got this in your shop right now, right?
Oh shoot, yeah.
So, what's that all about? I mean, when you see something, can you right away know, like, I can fix that, or I can restore it, I can bring it?
Oh, anything.
Because this is your other truck. Like, what was that truck that you had that had the?
Not a truck, it's FJ Cruiser.
No, he had something that was dropped.
Oh, that old square body.
Yeah, the square body.
Yeah.
So the FJ, so the van, the UK van, the FJ Cruiser, the one what did you just call it?
Square body.
The square body, and then this one. What's this one here?
This is that's a 48 Chevy, 48 Chevy. I think it's a 3100. I think that's what number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you see this stuff, I mean, and that's how you bought it, right? I mean, it was pretty
Oh, I didn't buy
beaten
it.
up.
I didn't buy it. I bought it like that, but I put the rims on it just to make it look
Cleaned
better.
it up and
make
did
it
all
look
that
better
stuff.
sitting in my shop.
So when you see this stuff, and I mean, a lot of people just like, it's
garbage.
junk, it's garbage.
Throw it away.
Can you just see it and know,
Oh, yeah.
like, I can?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Where'd you learn that from?
I didn't learn it.
Okay, well, like, how did you get into it, and how did you know that you could?
I mean, I'm not trying to call myself an artist by any means. So
Oh, no,
I'm not
you're an
trying to say
artist.
that. I'm not trying to say that.
Yeah.
But it's like an artist when he looks at something, looks at a wall, and it's like, oh my god, I could put this awesome mural up there. Well,
Yeah.
you can't teach that. I look at that and I'm like, hey, that thing could be dropped down. I'm going to put 24s on. It's going to be tucked. It's going to be channeled. It's going to have I'm going to put a Duramax in it
Yeah.
and be rolling coal and rolling smoke all day long down the street. So
Did you just grow up around mechanics and
yeah,
that kind of thing?
yep, on the farm. Grew up on the farm. Grew up building everything. Anything that you needed fixed, you fixed it yourself.
So
Anything
that's
you
the
wanted.
farm. That's the farm aspect, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's because I mean, if you come from the farms, you come from the Beltway of America, and that there's that. I think there's something
You don't just run out to a fucking hate that. You don't just run out to Walmart and go buy something. When you work on a farm, you don't go out to a Walmart or somewhere and buy something. You make it yourself or you fix it yourself. Whatever's there, you fix it.
Yeah.
You grab the welder, you grab the grinder, you go out and fix it, make it yourself.
And there's probably so many things that we all throw away that could literally be like, if you just took, I don't know, 2-3 minutes. Isn't that why YouTube is there now?
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
YouTube.
Oh, YouTube's the best.
It is the best.
Kyle, you're the
Okay.
best.
No, I've always looked at the things that I've been around to see, and the van, the UK van. Obviously, you guys did that together. The FJ Cruiser was badass.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you could. There's videos I saw of you just literally crossing through rivers and then coming out and just driving down the road.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we actually did quite a bit in that, quite a few different things in that shop. I mean, we did the FJ Cruiser. I had my old 3/4 ton Avalanche. I had a Farmall M that we did. I did an Alice Chalmers WC. Obviously, tractors, if you don't know
That Ford F100 that I still have.
the Ford F100 that he's got, and then this is my latest one. I mean, we don't do a lot, but if you follow Big Papa Customs on Facebook, you can see a lot of the stuff that we've done.
Big Papa Customs.
Yeah, this is Big
On
Papa.
Facebook.
This is Big Papa right here.
And he's custom.
Yeah, I'm custom.
That'll work. It's like Starsky and Hutch.
Yeah.
That was the best time, man. We had no damn money, but we had a shop that was 5,000 square feet.
Of
And we
just
would go
fun.
down there every night after work, and we'd just have fun. And on the weekends, we'd grill.
Gee.
And it's not exactly the nicest part of Rockford. And we'd have the doors open, and we'd grill, and we'd have paintball fights, and
Oh, my God.
we'd get on the little pit bike, and we'd run it around, and
Yeah,
my wife-
homeless people walking
oh
past.
yeah, and then the neighbors loved us. Even though we had music cranked, and they say we love that y'all are there. We feel safer the days that y'all are there with your doors open and your music blaring because we know nobody's going to mess with our stuff.
So going back to the, when you were restoring all these vehicles, did you ever sell any of them, or did you just,
I still got them all.
you have them all, don't you?
Yeah.
And that's what I think is actually pretty intriguing, is for our listeners and viewers, is like, because this is just one, well, actually, we've shown the UK van, and here's this other, vehicle that's sitting in a shop that you have right now up north. But all these vehicles that you particularly end up acquiring, you don't sell them. And, they end up being vintage, like restored vintage vehicles that you'd probably bring it to a trade show and people would say, I'll buy that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Like the Land Cruiser, the FJ40 is a 76. Like it was vintage before we even started rebuilding it. I bought
You
it when
still have the FJ?
Oh, yeah. I bought it when I was 14. So I've had it for 20 years now. Mm-hmm. Sorry, I literally had that thing. I bought it when I was 14 and rebuilt it.
Redo the math.
30 years. 30 years, my bad.
34.
Gronk is not good at math.
Yeah, it's not me no good. I've had it for 30 years now. I apologize. So I bought it when I was 14, and I'm like literally, I mean, picture yourself at 14. What were you doing at 14? I rebuilt and restored an entire FJ40 when I was 14. It took me 2 years to do it. I had to figure it all out because keep in mind this was 94, so there was no such thing as internet. There was no such thing as internet at that point. Well, maybe there was, but anyway, there was.
I found you.
Yeah, exactly. But 1994,
on the dark web.
1994, we're sitting here getting trying to source out parts and everything for this thing to get it all fully restored. It took me 2 years to do it, but by the time I was 16 years old, I restored a whole truck to drive to school every day.
Really?
I'm going to steal another one of these. I've never had it before. They're so delicious.
It's very good. We'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah. So
I'm
I bought it
wondering
when I
why
was,
Brad and I have drank all the bourbon already, and you two have not even touched yours.
Well-
I'll take another one too.
So here's the deal. Something that, Tony, I think you just said, and we're going to jump over to the side of the table in a minute, but one of the things that you just said that I picked up on was you said the best times were when you had no money, but a 5,000 square foot shop, you could pretty much do whatever you want in.
no worries in the
Like,
world.
and who doesn't, I mean, and I mean, man, woman, whatever you have a passion about, artists who, create in a shop or whatever. And then, but so many people are like, I didn't have any money and I was having the best time. Mm-hmm. And I find that to be kind of fascinating. It's a little bit better to have money.
Well, absolutely. Still don't have any damn
Yeah.
money.
now,
but I have the best time.
now I pretend like I have money and I'm just super fucking tired all the time.
Yeah.
That's because you're an old man with the cutest little boy in the world, but he's like,
Oh my God.
he's like a year old.
He's a year and a half.
We're gonna,
My bad.
we're gonna do,
he's a
we're
year and a
gonna
half.
get a photo cam and we'll insert it into the show here.
All right.
But I took a great photo of Cam in your old office. You had a big tire.
Did you notice how his name is Cam?
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
Yeah.
You guys
I didn't
talking
realize
about my love for vehicles,
Yeah.
and my son's
Yeah.
name is Cam.
Yeah, we picked up on that.
Okay.
We graduated high school too.
Wait, most people who graduate high school now don't know what a Cam is, so excuse my.
True. No, but I did take a photo of your little boy, and it was in a big tire. It's a great photo.
Oh, great
so
photo.
we'll throw that in here too.
The best one,
Yeah.
the best one that you took, is on his first birthday.
Yeah, that is
We're
good.
happy.
Insert that photo right now.
With the pappy.
Yep.
Is that the?
No, we did. It's not. He
it's
doesn't
the
have it.
family.
He
No,
doesn't have
but
it.
he'll put it in.
Yeah, we
he'll
will.
put it in later.
So okay, so
Pappy
I love that's a good kind of walking down memory lane with you guys. I know with Kyle and I, it's a little bit more simple. I think it's simpler is that, hey, we both love the fire service, so we jumped in with both feet a long time ago. We've had lots of conversations about that. We met each other on the Rockford Fire Department, and then, through the years, we just, I don't know, I might actually maybe throw it to you and like, when did we start to kind of hang out? Well, I guess what brought us together?
Let's be honest.
Honestly-
Did you actually start to hang out? Like
Did he
outside
pay you
work?
to be his friend?
Lord.
Well, it really
this
did
is a
start
business, too.
around the honor guard. The honor guard was pretty much what the initial,
Yeah.
thing that was interesting to both of us, and we did a lot of different things with the honor guard and a lot of different events and whatnot. And that's really what I think started it. You and Kurt had you and Kurt Byoffice used to get together and jam on the
Yeah.
guitar and the drums and whatnot and stuff like that. Kind of interested me a little bit, even though I didn't really join up with Biohazard or whatever the name of the group was.
Critical mass.
Same thing.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
You had a band? Why did
yeah.
I not know this?
Yeah.
they actually cut a record.
We did.
Wait, you
There's a
cut it?
song about it. They had a band. They tried real hard. Kyle quit.
Yeah. No, we
Jody got married. Yeah.
Wait, you cut
Will
the record,
quit.
or the
Kyle
people
got
who bought
married.
it cut it in half?
I think both happened.
Okay.
I think both did happen. But yeah, no, we did. We had a band. We called ourselves Critical Mass, and actually, my uncle Harold in Minnesota, Decorah. Actually, he lived in Decorah, Iowa, and he actually recorded the album. He had his own studio up there. So we actually did the whole load up equipment in the back of trucks, and we made umpteen trips up there to Minnesota and recorded the record. And that didn't
How
go
record
anywhere.
sales going?
Well, hey,
Through the roof.
through tens of people have a copy
Tens.
that they didn't pay for.
Can I get it on Apple Music?
Lots of
Is
people.
it on Apple Music?
Spotify.
Yeah, no.
Spotify.
Yeah. This is on Apple Podcasts, but not that album. But no, so to honor guard and whatnot. I think the other thing too that because you came on as a paramedic, I went to school early in my class. So when you were getting on the job, like you went to the ambulance really quickly as well. So I think we were, crossing paths in the hallways of the ER and,
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So
sure.
I think that, that just really, kind of gave us an opportunity to hang out a little bit more and discover that, hey, we have common interests and things of that nature. So then what I enjoy is that when did we, the four of us, start to kind of bring ourselves together? What was it? What was the catalyst there?
Are you asking? Why don't you ask Kyle?
No,
Go
well,
ahead and
I
answer,
think-
because I know what it is. I think I know what it is, but go ahead.
Well, I know that it was pretty much when you guys moved in, or when you moved in next
Yeah.
to him. That was the first meeting, and then that's how I got to know you, through him. And then you
So
came
that's
in.
when stuff started to go downhill
Yeah.
from there. So
Well,
you knew
life
that.
was so good before we met them, wasn't it, Brad?
I feel
you
like
didn't hang out in the shop anymore, did you?
I feel like we had less money but more fun.
I feel like everything went uphill once I met you guys.
It was an
Everything
uphill climb, is what you're saying?
No, it just got better.
No, your uphill climb, Brad. Remember, you stopped. You didn't go all the way.
Oh, come
We'll get that to later. I'm sure we'll get to that later.
Sure.
We'll discuss that later.
I think you're referring to a little hiking trip that we had.
It was a pretty big hiking trip. It was little for you.
But you know what? Actually, I probably had a lot more fun with your office manager. That your office manager was a lot of fun.
What does that mean? Elaborate.
It means that they really bring out the flavor in you.
Yeah. It's not really you. I know you think it's you, but it's not. We've never thought that it's you.
Went
Tony,
up to your house and had good times out on the patio and just hanging out, and that was really probably the thing that got us all hanging out together and whatnot. That was really I know that was the first time that I met you, was through Will and being your neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you do tell the story best. But when I met you, I was actually meeting both of you at the same time.
Brad lived with me.
He was living with you.
And the reason he lived with me is because my wife would not allow him to live on his own because she didn't trust him to be on his own.
Yeah.
And she knows, she goes, it was just like having a baby. It was literally 9 months to the day he finally left the house.
Yeah.
And got his own place.
I moved into this like high-end neighborhood and quickly discovered that my neighbor just brings in vagrants and he puts them up it's like a hotel.
Yeah, it was
six.
weird. It was weird. So I came into town. And
I'm like, is this a red roof inn next to me? What
I
the
rented
fuck?
this Airbnb and I didn't realize that the homeowners were going to stay.
That's a different kind of Airbnb.
Oh yes. I was kind of hoping they were going to leave.
Air Brad and Brad.
I mean, it was crazy because I was having parties at like 2:00 in the morning, and then all of a sudden the homeowner
Tuesday.
would come down. Yeah, what
if
else?
only
you
he
supposed
was
to-
joking,
On
right?
a Tuesday. And
If only he was joking.
You're sitting there and all of a sudden you're like, you smell popcorn. It's like, why do I smell popcorn? Oh.
Because I was making popcorn.
popcorn. Oh,
it was
now-
2 a.m. What else are you supposed to eat?
And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, we had like the speakers in the ceilings and stuff. And all of a sudden it's like, boom, 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 boom.
Oh, they weren't that good, bud.
And then you hear some random girl saying, she's on the phone and she's screaming. And I'm like, what the F is going on? It's 2 in the damn morning. I get up half naked. I walk out there. I'm like, what the F are you doing on my patio? She goes, who are you? I said, that's not the question I asked. I said, get off my property. She's like, you're ruining the night.
And she was right.
Where were you?
Oh, he's downstairs because hold on. Then
I was making popcorn.
So hold on.
that's right. I
I
forgot
cleared out the
popcorn.
house. I cleared out, and y'all been in my basement. We got the basketball court, like the bar, the whole layout. And about 3:30 in the morning, I'm like, all right, everything's quiet. I'm going back to sleep. My phone starts blowing up over, and I'm like, what's happening? So I answer my phone. I'm like, Brad, you're downstairs. What's up? I hate you. You ruined my party.
I may have been drunk.
I said, I hung up on him. I look at my wife. I said, I'm going to go grab a couple drinks and I'm going downstairs. She said, what? I said, and I went down there and he and I had drinks at 3:30 in the morning on like a Tuesday. We still have to get up and go to work. It's before like, you
That's the
know, you
whole
don't have to get
self-employed
like
thing
now you
again.
don't have to get
Yeah.
up and go to work. But back then we had to get up and go to work.
I think something that's interesting is that as we set this room up here is that here's Kyle and I, the fire service. There's you guys in the
Regular world.
Regular world.
The real world.
Which one's funner?
That's technically
Private
more
private. Hold
more
on.
fun.
Private sector,
More fun.
public sector. And here's the deal. I got to do a little quick disclaimer is that I'm talking about the fire service on this side. I'm not talking about like, a government job where you're, I don't know, filing tax revenues or something of that nature. I mean, not to say that that's not sexy, but I don't think that it probably is. But
you're comparing the fire department versus what we do.
Well, yeah.
You're comparing the fire department versus an insurance agent?
No,
let's talk about it.
You know what? The stuff that y'all go through, I mean, to me, I was in the military for 6 years.
You were.
And the things that y'all see is just as bad as people that go to war. So the answer is, obviously our side is more fun because even the downtime when y'all are having fun at the firehouse, because I've been to y'all's firehouses, and it is, y'all, it's a great setup. Like, all y'all do is sleep all day.
Yeah, it's really cool. You get paid.
But no,
did you hear that, folks? All you do is sleep all day.
No, but when it's time, when the shit hits the fan, the things you see and the things y'all have to go through, I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy. We've had conversations about, where you guys are at as far as, mentally. I don't know that there's any firefighter that retires without PTSD. That's my opinion. I may be wrong.
I wonder about that myself. Go ahead, keep going.
Seriously, because so when you're asking, our side is more fun because, what do we deal with? I don't know. Somebody might have accidentally peed in my chair because, we deal with seniors and it sucks. But, we don't, or someone passes away and, we go to their funeral and it's sad. But the things that y'all go through, I don't think most people realize because people, the police department, has it bad, right? Because either they're disrespected, even though 99.9% of them are amazing people. You've got in every industry, you've got that little 0.1% that ruins it for everybody, right?
Yeah.
Just the way it is. Y'all's situation, the stuff that y'all go through day in and day out, I'd no way. Like if my son told me he wanted to go in the fire industry or the fire department, I would try to talk him out of it based on knowing you guys and the conversations that we've had. And it's some horrific stuff. Dude, you and I have sat down in my basement, your house, my house, and discussed things where it's like I couldn't even imagine seeing and experiencing the things that y'all have experienced and seen.
I think that I want Kyle.
I just ruined everything, didn't I?
No, you didn't. No, this is where we kind of want to go because some of the viewers and listeners, a lot of them are firefighters, or they may police officers, dispatchers, paramedics, and then we have another range of other people who are doing all kinds of jobs in America. And I always believe that everyone's job has a part that sucks. And then a part that's, where they find some kind of joy. Hopefully they do. That's all I can ask is that they hopefully find some kind of joy. Obviously, a joy in the fire service is having a great buddy like, Kyle. And all the other friends that we've made along the way. What I find and what I wanted to do is bring together in this episode where we have people from the public sector from the fire service delivering the service to the people. And then you guys are actually the people in that private sector, the taxpayers, if you will, that are, just doing day-to-day life. And how many of them actually think about what we're doing over here? The fact that the way that you just described, the way that you think about the fire service, I thought was actually very honest and real, that you actually think that there's so many firefighters, and I'm going to bring in the police officers and the EMTs and the dispatchers, where a lot of them are literally just trying to keep on going, trying to figure out a way to do it and have fun. And that's really the point of, today and this episode with you guys is I want to have fun all the time. I always want to have fun. When I'm with you guys, I want to have fun. And we want to show people out there, like, hopefully you are finding a way to have fun, because that's the best way to reduce your stress.
Life's too short to take it seriously, man. I'm 22 years old and I've lived a long life. And my whole thing in life is you work hard when you're young so you can play when you're our age.
Yeah.
Because life sucks. If you don't grab it by the horns and just go do things like this, all the stuff that we do together my God, it's freaking awesome. But most people, it's a daily grind. It's a rat race. They retire at 65, 67, or whatever the age is, and then they die 2 years later. And they never, ever truly had fun.
You can't tell me that in your professional life that you haven't been presented with some challenges, the things that were presented to you. Brad, you would probably have very good insight on this too, that you looked at that as almost an insurmountable barricade that you had to figure out a way of getting around, and you probably felt like this isn't good. This is not good for me. It's not the way I envisioned things going. And
I have had that. In fact, I'm not going to say who, but there's one person in this room where I came up against like some barricades, and he's here.
Note that he's pointing to his left.
Me? Why are you pointing at me? One of the best thing that ever happened to you, bro.
Partnerships are in and of themselves a barricade, is it not?
Yeah. I have been very fortunate to have Brad as a partner. Mm-hmm. What I love is he used to get, and I know we just stepped off the fire department part, in the public service versus the private. The things that people don't realize, people take y'all for granted. They just think, oh, they're coming here to put out fires, big deal, whatever. That's all they do. No, man, the stuff I've talked to you both. We've hiked how many ever mountains because I'm a badass. Even when I was like so fat, because of y'all, I'm a badass because of y'all.
I think we have
people are looking at me. They're like,
let's pull up
how
that
did your
the
fat
first
ass
one.
Get up that mountain. I'm like, I have no idea.
It's it says Trailhead.
Oh shit.
So to your point, one thing I want to do is I want to jump back to what Kyle's I think trying to flush out here is that we appreciate, and one thing that we do at Original Firefighter is we do want to talk about the mental health and wellness of first responders, and appreciate. We can't always have the next guest be a firefighter, because then it's always like we're just having the same conversation day in, day out, right? We know. I mean, I pretty much can probably finish your sentence if we're talking about the fire service and vice versa. Having people come in that have something to offer from the private sector, which brings in and of itself the stresses that you guys have, where you're trying to start businesses and be thriving, but not only start them for yourself, but I mean, you had 600 agents that were working under what you guys were trying to build. You guys built it on a legal pad from Applebee's. So, that kind of brings us together to where we're saying, it's not the same stress. I mean, we're not trying to compare my stress versus your stress and whatnot. But what keeps people up at night, and there's no doubt that if you are a giver, if you're building something and you're trying to give back, there's stress that comes with that, because you're trying to make things better for people. And a lot of people are taking that for granted. They're just, you can't fault people for doing what they need to do to just make a paycheck and make their mortgage payment and things of that nature. You can't fault people for just, maybe their walk of life was that they ended up in that kind of that cubicle office space career type thing. But there's a way to get out of it, right? You just got to have a little bit of fire in your belly. So you follow me?
So I'm a legal immigrant. I came from, Beirut, Lebanon. That's where my family's from. We came over because, we had to. We didn't have a choice because, they had a bounty on my father's head, so we had to leave. And I'll tell you this. The first time I'm going to just give you like a just short synopsis of me and my family, my brothers, my sister, which y'all know all of them. The first time I ever took a shower in my own home, I was in the 9th grade, because we never could afford a house that had an actual shower. It was just a bathtub. And we would literally put the drain thing, the whatever you call it, the stopper, and we'd fill it up with a country crock bucket. You dump it on your head, you wash, and all 4 of us would take a bath. Me, my sister, and my 2 brothers. When we're done, my mom would, because we were so poor, would bathe. She would wash herself in that water because we couldn't afford any. I mean, we were so poor. And to me, you are who you are because that's what you want to be. And we didn't have to, my brothers are successful beyond, and even my sister, because we want it to be. We decided we're not gonna stay like this. We're gonna get above this. To me, it's hard for me to feel sorry for those that don't, because just grab your bootstraps and work your ass off and figure it out. And that's what you do.
Do you mean to say that when you want to be what you want to be, it's because you can, it's not just what you grew up knowing. You realize that this is what I started from. I'm gonna over exceed.
Yeah.
You're not just gonna succeed, but you're over.
We are in the best country in the world. You have every opportunity in the world to do whatever you want. And maybe you don't make it, but make sure your kids do, because they see how hard you work, and maybe you struggle, and you take those sacrifices for that next generation. Because, my mom and dad struggled, and they made those sacrifices. They're very well off in Lebanon. We come over here, we have nothing. They struggled, they busted their ass, not for them, for their children and their children's children and so forth. What my mother and my father did changed the trajectory of the Torbey family. You follow me?
I do.
And so, to me, when I see these people that beg and that do it's hard for me to feel sorry for them, because that's where we were at one time, and we refused to take handouts. Instead, my dad always told me, and he died when I was 13, and my mom always told me the same thing: the only person that's responsible for your well-being is you. And if you try to rely on anyone else, then shame on you if you don't make it.
Tony, I've had an opportunity to work in every part of this city, of our hometown. I've seen people that have a lot of money. I've seen people that have absolutely nothing. And sometimes I see these kids run around barefoot and they're dirty, and I look at it and I think, that's the best that kid's ever going to know. But they don't realize that all they have to do is just want it a little bit. Mm-hmm. You just want it just a little bit, then the sky is the limit. And you can make out of yourself whatever you want. But a lot of them will never get to see it, because that is what they know, and that's what they think is normal. And if they don't understand that you could be LeBron James, you could be that person that goes and makes something out of yourself that, you were nothing before, and you worked hard enough at something that it wasn't given to you, but you worked hard at it and you got it.
This episode of the Original Firefighter Podcast is sponsored by Castle Contracting. Castle Contracting offers commercial and residential restoration, leading the industry in roofing, residential siding, gutters and downspouts, egress window installation, storm damage assessment and repair, and solar energy, saving you money and time. If you want to be treated like royalty, contact Castle Contracting to schedule a free inspection. Call them at 877-512-4207 or go online and visit castleexteriors.net. That's 877-512-4207 or go online and visit castleexteriors.net. Serving Illinois, Wisconsin, and Kentucky, Castle Contracting has you covered. Your home is your castle. Call Castle Contracting today.
And I think that's what this career for me has really given me an opportunity to see that, like, all walks of life. And by no means did I ever have it.
I'm going to say something.
You're a badass. Number one, you climb mountains, not as fast as me. Medium
pace, though.
What pace. Hey, what exactly do you do now?
I work.
What's your title?
Firefighter.
Yeah, you're a badass. The things that you've done and where you are today.
I would like to take the opportunity to recite the words of a young poet. You started from the bottom. Now we're here. I think it fits.
The end?
The end. I think it fits.
Actually, you know what, Brad, I'm going to do, that's awesome you bring that up. There are so many quotes in all of history, like historical, going way back to Socrates and, but Mike Tyson summed it up. Did he not? Dude. Everybody's got a plan till they get punched in the mouth. I mean, no joke. And one of the things, and I was going to be real clear about this, and regardless of who it pisses off, this whole conversation that's going on in America, where I, somehow have to figure out how I do or do not have certain privileges. I have three of my very good friends here with different backgrounds and walks of life, and I can already figure out that there's nobody here that started out with any kind of privilege, and I already know, I can already hear it, I can already see it, and within there being a message out there that says, yeah, well, you're not going back to your ancestry, and it's like, well, here's the thing, I can't go back there because I didn't live there. I lived in a place called Rushford, Minnesota, and I grew up like you, Brad, where you were up very early and you were expected to do the farm work. And there was not much left over I don't even know that anybody understood what a paycheck was or a payroll what's the payroll from a farm look like? I have no idea. And you grew up and
we haven't found it either.
Yeah, I know. Where did you grow up at?
Walnut, Illinois.
Walnut, Illinois.
Walnut. It's not almond.
Sounds like a little town on Little House of the Prairie.
Cashew.
So I just, I'm not going to deal with it as far as that whole privilege conversation goes. I mean, your story about you didn't take. I'm sorry, that's tough. Your family.
When it's all you know, it's all you know.
Yeah,
life's good.
What was your upbringing?
Yeah, I was just going to ask.
I lived in Beverly Hills.
Yeah, that's going to ruin everything I just said.
Well, my mom drove a Mercedes and my dad had a jet.
And I was so pissed off at age 16. They said, you don't get a foreign car. You got to drive a Ford Mustang. Brand new.
It was not brand new.
All right.
Bright pink.
So my dad worked in a factory. My mom worked for a trucking company. What I do remember about my dad is that one of the biggest things I remember about my dad was that most of the time he went to work when it was dark and he came home when it was dark. So, and he worked in a place that probably didn't have a lot of windows in a factory, excuse me, in a factory. And the reason that he did that was so that I could have the things that I needed to get through life. They sent me to a private school. I couldn't tell you what the inside of a public school looks like. So, other than I didn't go to a public school.
He was rich.
Private school kid. I get it.
I get it.
Well, hold on. I'm going to come to his defense.
And he did that because he wanted me to have what he felt was the best education. My mom did the same thing. I got put over to Grandma and Grandpa's house to catch the bus in the morning because Mom and Dad had to already be at work by the time I had to be on the school bus. Or I rode home with my aunt because my cousins went to the same school and we came home that way. But I just remember that's what they had to do. They did what they had to do so their kids maybe wouldn't have to work as hard as they did. Mm-hmm. And I owe a lot to them. And your kid will know it one day. He'll say, "Man, Dad was right." You're gonna have to tell him some things that he's gonna be like, "Man, I hate that guy. He doesn't know what I'm doing. He doesn't know what I'm going through." And it's like, well, one day he's gonna look back on that and go, "Dad was right." And I do that a lot. Mom and Dad were right. They knew what they were talking about. They had the life experiences that I didn't. But so I graduated from high school and didn't know what the heck I was gonna do, and I was. That's a ship without a rudder. I didn't know where I was going to end up. And just by some freak chance, I got introduced to some firefighters that said, "Hey, you ought to try and volunteer your time at this fire department." And that changed my life. From that point forward, I had direction all of a sudden. Now I'm like, oh, well, this is pretty cool. I like doing what I'm doing. And then all of a sudden they said, well, you don't have to volunteer your time. They'll pay you for this.
They pay you for
this? Are you
this?
kidding? Sign me up.
Just got to go to a different town.
But you just got to be willing to relocate, And I didn't really relocate. I still live in Rockford.
Have you always been in Rockford?
Yeah. I'm a lifelong resident. So
that's good.
So go ahead. Finish up.
I'll never have the experiences that you had, and I may never ever go to Lebanon. I don't know. It sounds like a neat place from what you've told me. Some of the experiences that you had.
You should go there.
It's in Kansas, right?
The capital. There is a Lebanon here, but no. I don't get those experiences. Kansas. I will never get that experience that you had. And you might say, "Oh, you're lucky," and maybe I am. I don't know. But I like to see what that has brought somebody that was from there that had to leave there for fear of their life so that they could have a better life in the United States, in America, and realize that American dream, and got it through hard work and not taking no for an answer, and having setbacks, but overcoming those setbacks and meeting a couple great firefighter friends that really pulled him up from the depths of depravity.
No. You pulled me up to get to the top of where?
Oh, that was just that one time.
Half Dome.
No.
Yeah.
Dude. No, it was Mount Albert. That was the one.
Well, Mount Albert was you and I, but Half Dome was our first hike.
Yeah.
It was.
And so
I guess that was a collaborative effort.
225 pounds. I was the heaviest I'd ever been in my life. And y'all said, y'all want to go hiking? Fuck yeah. You said this is R-rated, right?
Yeah.
So
you
I'm
can
like,
say whatever you like.
Oh my God. It took me 2 weeks to recover. Remember when we got down, we went.
Well, I've got the story of stories when it comes to
We had a bottle of
mountain.
Blanton's, and I couldn't even take a sip. It was so nasty. We ordered a pizza.
Yeah.
I couldn't even take a bite. Like I would have carrots and hummus. Dude, y'all were like, oh, it's like just another leisurely walk, and I'm like,
oh, I did not feel that way at all.
you know, halfway down on our way back, I wanted to be eaten by a bear.
I do remember that.
I did remember.
It was a bad.
I'm like, I did.
Exactly.
I did keep dropping like ding dongs behind him, like hopefully Twinkies,
I think this is bear scat. Oh God, I hope a
Wish that
bear
bear
eats
would
it.
eat me.
I am ready for a bear. And then we found out it was a fucking horse.
Yeah, everything was
I'm
a
like, "Where's the
bear."
bear. I wanted to be eaten. I was
And
so
you
done.
hated it so much you went back for another round.
This episode of the original Firefighter podcast is brought to you by Benny's Slots, Wine, Spirits, and Empire Gaming. With 3 locations serving the Rockford area in Roscoe, McChesney Park at Nest, and Cherry Valley at the Harley-Davidson store, Benny's is the place with taste and enough luck to go around for everyone, provided by Empire Gaming. Each location offers fun and entertainment with weekly sports, events, drawings, and live music in a plush environment. As a side note, I recently had my retirement party this past summer at Benny's at Nest in McChesney Park, and they gave us the VIP experience all around. For the best atmosphere, for the best entertainment, head to Benny's for good drinks, good friends, and good times. Stop in at a Benny's location near you today.
Fuck, what, like 4 times?
We're going to talk about that. I have wanted to say this because Kyle was talking about his upbringing, the values that his mother and father instilled on him, and I know that your dad was, very instrumental in your upbringing. Here's a little fact. Please correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I am. His dad, how many years did he work?
39.
39 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
Never took a sick day. Is that not true?
I don't know if that's true or not. I don't remember him ever staying home sick. I don't ever remember him going.
I thought it was that he never took a sick day over 39 years, and then you yourself kind of have a legacy of. Did you ever
sick? Don't stay home.
Did you ever take a sick day?
No.
Never took a sick day.
But I was never to the point where I didn't feel like I could go to work.
That's not the point.
Now, some people would say, you came to work when you were sick and you could have got someone else sick, but I don't think so.
I always thought that was pretty awesome. One of the things I want to jump into with you guys is...
if I'm not mistaken though, wasn't he also able to leap tall buildings in a single bound?
No, well, it was like a bound and a half.
Okay.
Bound and a half.
Bound and a half. Okay,
Yeah.
so he wasn't all the way there. All right.
Yep.
One of the things I want to jump into is that everybody at this table here has actually gotten into entrepreneurship. And another thing that I find to be interesting of our friendship and, the way that we've intersected our lives and friendships, families, things that we do. We refer to hiking and building trucks together and all the things we like to do off the job. So you once had a company called Cool Cuts? Yes?
How did you remember that?
Cool Cuts.
That's
What
true.
was that?
It's just something that has.
Would
to
you
do
have
Yeah.
like a truck you drove around and you cut people's hair randomly at their house?
I was thinking more salami.
Like,
You go around
What was the name of the company that they had in Dumb and Dumber?
Mutt Cuts.
Mud cuts.
Different.
All the dogs
It's a
in the
little
back
different.
getting sick.
No, there was a company called Cool Cuts that a friend and I did, and basically kind of sourced some laser.
Yeah, you did integral
work for
cuts.
people. Yeah, just
by laser.
like metal
Haircuts?
laser.
Yeah.
No,
Oh.
metal,
So not hair.
not hair, metal.
Could you do
We're
hair?
beyond that.
And maybe, but it would have been a little.
With a laser?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we didn't-
We're going to do
let's
that
do
right
laser,
after
though.
Can we
this.
start a company where we cut hair with lasers?
Lasers
With sharks.
with freaking
So
laser
Cool
beams.
Cuts. What was
Yep.
the first company you guys started together? So you had your own separate thing, but how you guys met? We talked about this at the beginning of the
Senior
episode.
Advisors of Illinois.
So you started Senior Advisors of Illinois, and that transitioned to what, or did it just stay there?
No, we still have it, though. We don't really do much with it. But Torbey Financial, now we have okay, this is my favorite thing to say. Brad used to get so pissed off because everybody would come in and say, "Is your boss here?" And they would refer to me as, even though he's my
I think that
partner.
was me.
And he would get
Every
so
time.
mad.
Every time. You even knew the answer.
I
You just
stopped
did
by.
it.
He's like, "I fucking hate that people ask if you're my boss."
Well, don't put Brad out front.
so now,
Yeah, why was I always
As
the one
the
on the
greeter.
sandwich board and going out and be like, free
Spinning
quotes.
the arrow.
Free quotes.
Brad's office was 12 feet by 30 feet. Now, it had a lot of area for our clients to sit
It also
in.
doubled as the conference room.
No. It doubled as a waiting room. And, I mean, so he sat up front. He'd greet the guests. Anyway, I'm just joking. But, and now I do this on purpose. I always call him my boss now. Because, we run Castle, his roofing company down in Kentucky. And so I'm like, oh, no, I work for Brad. And Brad's like, whatever, dude. You don't work for anybody. But I love doing that because for so many years, everybody just assumed that Brad worked for me, but we were partners.
Because you were such the dominant partner.
No, it's because he's old.
Because
The loudest voice in
I
the
was a
room.
loped out gangster set tripping banging. When my homies around, don't arouse my anger.
Oh.
Oh boy.
But seriously, that's how it
go ahead.
was because
Ain't nothing but a heartbeat away. Living life, do or die.
do we have to pay for that? Do we have to give royalties?
I think we have to pay you.
What can I say?
But seriously, so
Yeah, so Cool Cuts, Senior Advisor of Illinois, Torbey Financial, Castle Contracting. We'll get into the newest venture here in a minute. And then, from my side is Laughing Ninja was an apparel brand that I started, and
cool shirts.
yeah, it's some fun stuff. And at the end of the day, I ended up helping a lot of bowling leagues. So, that's fun. And then, parlay that into, I was a part of Planet 3, which then, comes to where I'm at right now with original Firefighter. So, I mean, there's all of that, again, was sort of this thought where how did my friends and our friends, mutual, how did we all end up with this creative space where we think like there's no off button?
There's never an off button.
Yeah. And where does that come from? I
Brad
know
and
that a lot of
was our
ideas.
livelihood. That was y'all's side chick. That
Okay,
was y'all's
so
side
that's
chick.
what
That was
I mean.
That was our marriage.
So that's what I mean is
that was our
that
day to day.
that's you guys trying to figure out, because never did the two of you, I'm pointing to, you, Tony and Brad, is that you guys never wanted to just go and do, the $60,000 or $110,000 job in the private sector, which is not fun, not bad. It will give you a decent life and a good living in America, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But
Times.
but you guys basically you never wanted to work for anybody. And where does that come from?
And people look at me like I'm crazy when I say this, but I've never had a job.
You've never had a job.
No,
You do what you love. You'll never work a day in your life.
No,
Yep.
I'm just saying I've never had a job. I've never had an
Okay,
actual
and so-
W-2
You never
job.
had anything you never had a job that you said, I hate this.
No, well, I've just never had a job. I've never signed a W-2. I've never had a W-4.
He's never had a job. Trust me. I've seen his.
Anyway, no, but what I'm saying is like I don't know what I would do. Like I worked on the farm, but I mean, if you want to call that a job, I call that more,
I find it interesting. I find it interesting that you both do actually agree, because you did a little fist bump there where you say, I never had a job. I've never had a job. Funny thing is that I could do the same fist bump with you. Let's do it.
Seem fake.
So what I'm saying is that you guys literally feel like you've never worked a day in your life. And the funny thing is we can say that.
Yeah.
In the fire service, there's so many people out there across America. There's 1.3-ish million firefighters, many of them still volunteers, but many of them career, where they will literally say, yes, I get paid, I get a paycheck, and there's stability for sure. But a large sentiment within our industry is, I've never worked a day in my life, because I've enjoyed so much coming to the firehouse, doing the job with the coworkers that I have, and things of that nature.
Well, here's the funny thing: is you said you've never had a W-2. What kind of funky finance is going on over there at Castle Roofing?
I actually do.
Don't get a W-2 at the end of the year.
I actually have a W-2 now. I actually do have a W-2 now.
All right, I've gone through. When I go to file my taxes at the end of the year, there's sometimes I've had
taxes.
5
taxes. What's that? I've also never
5
paid
or
taxes.
6 W-2s that I've given. And granted, they're not like high dollar things. Maybe I taught a class for an entity that I was working for, or I had a couple part-time jobs, but I had a lot of W-2s.
Yeah.
So that's different for me.
Yeah.
Let me ask, and I'm sorry, I'm hijacking.
No, you can.
What was your first job out of high school? If you never had a job, what was your first job? What was the first method of making money out of high school?
Farming.
But you worked for your family.
Yeah, for my family. So like,
there's
that's
That's
what I was saying, is it's more like slave labor at that point. So I think I got paid. But yeah, so technically I did get paid.
If you're getting paid by putting a roof over your head, then that's not really getting paid. That's just living.
Yeah, I definitely did get paid out of that. So yeah, technically, but when I say that I have never had a job, what I mean by that is I've never really had a boss looking over my shoulder and telling me what to do and what not to do.
Yeah, because the insurance business fucking sucks, man. Like, we work our ass off. I remember starting it. It's 16, 18-hour days. People putting guns to your. I don't even know how many times I've had guns pointed at my head where you're cold calling places and you're there at 6 a.m, 9 o'clock at night, and they're telling you, get the F off my property or I'm gonna blow your head off. I mean, like, seriously. Those are the things. You know how many people I've trained that they never showed up the next day because what they witnessed the day before. So, you said, oh, you never had a job, so it's been easy or whatever. But no, man, the insurance industry in the beginning.
No, not that. No. Not that it's easier. What I find is interesting is that you both did kind of like the fist bump thing, and you were like, you've never worked. You never felt like you were working for the man. Like, you did your own thing.
Correct.
So I want to clarify the record that
it's harder than working for the man.
Exactly.
There's no guarantee. If you don't get up and go to work,
well, okay. Let me
make money.
Let me throw some statistic to you guys. So in the United States, the average number of new businesses started each year is about 4.7 million. 4.7 million new businesses are started each year. In 2023, a historical high was 5.4 million started. And I'm assuming, I did a little bit of backtrack on that. I think that a lot of that comes from COVID, or the other side of COVID, where so a lot of the workforce moved back. They were in their office facilities, and so many people ended up back at their own homes and trying to figure out, like, well, what am I going to do for my livelihood? And so then, therefore, they start up a new business, right? Well, here's the deal. So the U.S. is considered to be.
See, this is interesting. Keep going with this. I like this.
The U.S. is considered to be the country that has the most startups in the world. However, so here's the thing. So, and it's a little bit sad, right? Because people put all of their livelihood into a startup, and yet 90% of startups, they fail in the first year.
And this is exactly what I was talking about.
Go ahead.
When we very first started.
Go ahead.
Most people, even when we brought them into our company, nobody's got the passion, nobody's got the determination to be able to get up out of bed in the morning and actually go to work on their own, unless they know that there's a boss there that's going to be there to fire them.
That there's an end result.
Yep, exactly.
And that end result, because in America, we measure end result usually by every 2 weeks.
Well, and not only that, but now at this point, because a new generation, obviously the newer generation, everybody wants instant gratification.
They want to be
Yes.
where you are. They don't want to do what you did.
Exactly. The instant gratification could be considered the paycheck every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But within him and his and my businesses, I mean, I may not get a paycheck for another 2 months on something. So
Right.
it's like the instant gratification could be basically considered that every 2 weeks or that weekly paycheck.
So how do you deal with that employee? How do you manage that?
Fire 'em.
Because well, you can fire him all you want, but I mean, the next guy that comes in is going to be the same way. So
Exactly.
how do you? And I know this is probably way off topic.
No, not at all.
But we talk about it a lot in my line of work. Is that the new firefighter that comes in does not have the experiences that the firefighter of 30 years ago had when they came to the work.
Different generation.
They work with their hands. They came from the trades. Blah 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 blah.
Dude, they
But
don't
now-
even know how to use a hammer. People don't even know how to use a hammer or
and
screwdriver.
that's my
today.
point. But
do you see
And
what
it's
just
not their
happened there?
fault. It's our generation's fault because there are so many pieces of shits out there that are our age that have raised horrific children. So you can't blame that next generation. You blame our generation.
okay, well, I can blame my generation all I want, but the problem is that I'm dealing with the fallout from it, and now I've got to figure out what motivates that person.
Because what he's trying to say, real quick, and what he's trying to say is that what's interesting that you bring up the whole that they don't know how to use a hammer. We literally on the fire side, we hire people, men and women today, or the younger men and women today, most likely, and we say the same exact phrase. They don't even know how to use a hammer. So you're from the private sector, we're from the public sector, and we're like, they don't know how to use a hammer. I'm not really interested in knowing like who we should blame. I'm more interested in what is the ramifications for our youngest up and coming generations not knowing how to use a hammer, not knowing how to repair or fix a vehicle that you might need to use to get to work, as you did. When we began the episode, you said I built a truck to get to high school. I'm like, okay, that's that's pretty badass. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, that's pretty badass. So what I drive at here with you guys, and again, I know my audience here today. I've said, I know that you guys have an awesome background with where you started, and just how could you even end up with 600 agents underneath the two of you, and the fact that none of you wanted to.
Yeah, I want to know that too.
The fact that
we don't know.
Yeah, no kidding.
We don't know.
But the fact that neither one of you wanted to work for a boss. Kyle and I, we entered the fire service. We have a boss. We've always had a boss, but we always wanted to climb the ladder to try to determine could we be the boss, And that goes back to, so let me throw this out to you guys again. Just go back to some of these statistics I brought to the show.
Did you know that 86% of the statistics are made up on the spot?
Yeah,
maybe
of course.
72. I can't remember, but it's made up. I just made that up.
I think my printer just like the ink didn't come through us. So just add some numbers. So here in America, it's found to be that to find a product that you can bring to market, you have to have about 3 times more of the effort than most founders estimate that they would have to put into something. So that goes back to your point, Brad, is that everyone has an idea, right? So everyone has an idea and they think they have the best idea. And actually, by average, when people think they have the best idea, they overcompensate that idea by 255%.
Made up on the spot.
255%. Yeah, and
they over-exaggerate their own idea.
Exactly.
In their own head, they feel like it's better than what it actually is.
Yes.
Yeah. What was your dog grooming business when you were growing up?
Cool cuts.
That is a great business
I think that's
idea.
a multi-billion-dollar company. That's worldwide.
Could be
That's a great
rejuvenated.
company.
Yeah, they could be rejuvenated anytime.
We just need to get that van.
You guys have a van, right?
Yes, we do. We love you, Will. We love you, Will.
So I do want to bring us over to some of the travel and the hiking that we've been able to do together. There's a photo of us at the trailhead of Mount Elbert. And
that was fun.
That was at what, 5:30 in the morning?
Yeah, there's
so
five.
that's all of us together, just doing our thing.
That's 5 of us. Can I see the end of the? Show me the top.
What's that? Yeah.
Who the fuck wakes up at 5:30 in the morning to go walk?
Why is there only 3 of us now?
Weird.
Hey,
How?
So let me tell you the best part of that trip outside of Kyle and I pushing.
You got
each
to bring
other.
this up to your mouth. Really,
Oh,
you have to have
okay,
2
all right.
fingers in front of your mouth.
Help him out, Brad.
That's what.
Help him out, Brad. There you go.
All right. So the best part of that trip, outside of you and I pushing each other, even though Will was like 20 freaking hours ahead of us, and he's like, "Oh, you're here," was we brought a drone. He had the drone in his backpack.
You never used it.
And, hold on, because I had the battery pack in my backpack.
I don't know if I knew
He
that.
had the battery pack in his backpack, and I had the drone in my backpack to kind of separate the weight a little bit.
The weight.
It was like a 5-pound
I like
battery.
how you had. I love your enthusiasm that you thought you were going to have the drone close enough to us to actually.
I would have
After 100 yards.
I would have because I could have flown it all the way forward to where you guys were, all the way up.
Hold on, and Brad
like
and
you were
your
almost
cousin
there.
Dan. Nobody knows that his name is Dan. Made it 100 yards into the hike, and then never made it the other 15 miles or how many ever miles.
Wait, who?
There was somebody with us?
Wait, what?
It was just us 3.
Sorry, Dan.
Sorry, Dan.
No, we've had some great experiences between hiking, the traveling. There's a video coming up here.
Oh, Jesus, you have
with-
video?
Well, actually, you know what? Let's go to the snowmobile. So I've got a good. Yeah,
What photo is that?
There's somebody missing in that photo. They cropped them out.
a little bit.
Oh shit! Sorry, I can't cuss.
I think the quote of this photo was "cheaters get cropped out." I think that's
kind of, yeah.
No, but
Cheaters never win.
between because again, everyone in this room we've hiked together, we've snowmobiled together. Tony, you have a horrific snowmobile story that only I can tell.
That's why I'm bald. That's why
We
I shave
went
my
back.
hair.
We went back on a snow trail up in the UP for. He threw his UK hat in the the windshield of a snowmobile. Really secure.
Where else would you put it?
Very secure, and it flew off on the trail. We get to the downtowner in Houghton, Michigan, and the downtowner, and he's like, "I don't have my hat. I can't continue life without this hat."
Apparently.
So we had to get back on our sleds.
It was like a Duke hat or something, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like a Duke hat?
Right.
No, your mom gave it to me.
So we flew down the trail to find this hat. We actually found the hat. We found it. As we found it, we turned around.
Isn't that crazy that we found it?
We did find it.
Oh my God.
Only so that Tony could take
You
off like a
motherfuckers
bat.
made me leave. Leave.
Tony takes off like a bat out
I
of
can't
hell.
see at night.
Nobody else knew that.
Tony takes off like a bat out of hell. Now, what people don't understand is that the trails are about 3 to 4 feet above stop signs because of the snowdrift. And so Tony hits his brakes as if brakes actually work on a snowmobile. And he sees the stop sign coming, and he's not going to make it. And he literally flies off.
Oh, I hit that. I hit my brakes. I got sideways. I went up to the left.
Bring your microphone up.
You're terrible at this microphone.
You were really bad.
I
We're
went
going to
up.
do so much editing.
I went up and it launched me off, and I fucking landed in the middle of a 2-lane highway.
In the highway.
How the hell? And then, like right next to me, my snowmobile was upside down. Drew came up, and I'm like this. I couldn't breathe. Both my
part of the
gloves.
segment.
I hit so hard, both my gloves fell off, and my helmet flew off. And all I could hear was, "How are you alive? How are you alive?" And I'm just sitting there, and then I
Choking up blood.
I had like 5 more miles to take the snowmobile, and the handles were like all the way down there by like my knees. I'm driving it down there.
Yeah.
Paid
You
my
always get insurance
Hey, but let
on
me tell you,
your
I do.
snowmobiles, right?
I'm such a badass. I paid my $1,000 deductible, got another one, and they're like, "You're not going back up." I'm like, "Fucking A,
But
I
that's
am."
what friends do. They don't let friends go down
Oh no! I
Michigan
get back to the
snow
downtowner,
trails.
and you some bitches are sitting there drinking. I like my whole head is like bloody. There's blood everywhere.
So reach out to Senior Advisors
And
for
y'all
all
are
your
like-
snowmobile
y'all-
insurance needs.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Oh man!
So I want to move. All right. So I want to move into our final topic tonight.
Kyle, you got to go snowmobiling with us again. I haven't been snowmobiling with you forever. I think.
Let's do
it.
By the way, we have changed it. Actually, we changed it. It's no longer snowmobiling. We are now bar hopping in Miami on snow. On jet skis.
Okay.
I don't disagree with that.
All right.
There's bars in the ocean?
Yes, there are.
Yes.
There's lots
Sandbars.
of them. There's lots of them.
I got you.
Oh, there's bars on
Y'all
the
can
beach.
go to Antigua with me. How about if y'all just
I can't afford it. Apparently, it's $7 grand.
That's $7
Neither
grand.
can I.
That free trip is $7 grand.
So, everybody that's listening, do not ever bid on a free trip in an auction because it's never free.
Never
All right,
free.
Continue. Go ahead, man. My bad.
No, and our final topic here tonight is that the one thing that as we drew our friendship together between entrepreneurship, the private sector, the public sector, taking chances and trying to, just figure out a way to make your life better, right? And that's where you guys are at right now. Right now, you have a great establishment that's opening up. Do you want to talk about that?
Sure.
Yeah, do it, please.
Sure.
Please.
We just opened up a restaurant called The Parks, serving pizza and Italian cuisine.
Yeah.
May I ask you why you decided to do that? You're making
I don't know why we decided.
like
I
the
don't know
roofing
why.
construction company. You're killing it. You're killing it. Why would you get into the restaurant business? Though I did. Your pizza was amazing, by
it
the
was
way. Even
pretty
though
good.
it was, I don't know.
You gotta have some of this chicken. You gotta have some.
Oh, that crack chicken or
the
George
crack
chicken.
crack chicken is what we call it.
We're going there tonight. I mean,
Good
my
Lord.
brother's going to be there tonight.
We're gonna do another podcast from there. I think
We are going. Actually, that is
That'd be a
true.
good idea.
We are going to do that.
we actually intended on doing like a pizza place down on Fort Myers Beach because it was decimated. I don't know if you guys have been down there after
yep,
the hurricane. It was
100%.
decimated and there's nothing left. We were going to buy a piece of property down there. And when I say buy a piece of property on the beach on a sterile island, it's literally we're buying a lot of sand. Because there's nothing else there. We don't have to tear anything down. We were literally saying, let's go buy a lot of sand, put a trailer on it, and sell pizza by the slice.
Yeah.
Make $1 million without a question. And then literally a week later, somebody came to me with the opportunity to purchase a bar. And that's when I brought him into it. And it's just kind of, it was
In McChesney Park.
in McChesney Park. We
And you made the
decided
better
McChesney
choice.
Park. Yeah, we
because
made
you
it.
wouldn't have to move your restaurant for the next hurricane.
Exactly.
The great thing about the parks is that it has an awesome bourbon collection.
Bourbon collection is on.
And so that's the last topic that we're going to be talking about tonight is that all of, the intersections of our friendship and things that we've done together, whether it be hiking, snowmobiling, just, hanging out, we've pretty much done all of it over drinking bourbon. And, so here's what I want.
Decisions made.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And bourbon. So this bourbon that I brought here tonight. So it was
Great
the
bourbon, by the way.
It's Maker's Mark, which has been around forever. And you live so you live in Lexington, which is very close. What I love is that you went to you graduated from the Bourbon
County High School.
High school.
Nobody believes me. Bourbon County High School.
That's in Kentucky.
So what about
the house that I'm building is the flooring that I'm putting in my home is reclaimed tobacco warehouse flooring from Bourbon County, Kentucky. My buddy reclaimed it and redid it, and that's what we're putting in our floors. That's what our floors are.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
What's the story behind your favorite bottle of bourbon right now? What is it?
That I drink or that I collect?
It doesn't matter.
Drink.
If it's
So
just-
you got to do the one you drink because the one you
So-
collect is not one that you drink. So,
My favorite ever, 2009, we used to be big shots in the industry. And so this one company used to wine us, dine us, and we would go, they would take us to they'd give us high-end suites, they'd pay for the games, they'd pay for all the food and everything. And so I told my brother, I said, hey, the family, I said, bring everybody up. I'm getting a suite. We're going to the Final Four. It's Calipari's first year. Let's go. It's in Indianapolis. I got the suite for the game before. It was Miami Heat against Indianapolis Pacers. And my brother calls me and he goes, hey, they got a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle 23-year family heritage foolproof. They made 5,000 bottles. It comes in this big decanter with two glasses, like the crystal glasses, in a big old box. I'm like, how much is it? He goes, $450, 2009. I said, all right, I'm gonna let's buy it. I'll pay you for it. And if we like it, he goes, I said, how many do they have? He goes, they have 2 sitting here on their shelf. I said, buy one. If we like it, we'll buy the other one. So he brings it up. We freaking pop it open. It's 123 proof. So it's not like your normal Pappy. It's like high-end Pappy, right? We drink it. And man, if we crushed it. We drank like half that bottle that night, and then we drank it throughout the course of that next year. Today, so we bought it for $450. Today, it goes for $40,000.
Did you buy the second box?
No, he went back. I said, dude, this is so awesome. Go buy the second box. He went back. It's already gone.
Obviously.
So we've been offered $5,000 for the bottle and the whole thing empty because, you know, a lot of bars buy them and they fill them up with bullshit and they sell them. But that's probably my favorite bourbon that I've ever had in my life. That's probably, and it's because, you know, me, my brothers, we all got to share it. We're at the, you know, the Final Four that Kentucky did not make, and whatever, it is what it is. But it's just, that's probably my favorite bourbon story.
Yeah.
And my favorite bourbon. My second favorite bourbon that I've never opened, they made 50 bottles for the entire world, and it's a Maker's Mark bottle.
No kidding.
And the Torbey family have 4. My brother bought all four of them. I got one of them. It's like $250 a bottle. And today they go for about $5,000-$6,000, and we won't sell. And they're $375.
Which one is it?
It's looks like a pigskin, like a football label, and it has the 2 quarterbacks from Louisville, from Louisville and Kentucky, the 2 head coaches from Kentucky and Louisville, and signed by Samuels, who at that time, the owner, the distiller, or whatever, the owner of Maker's Mark. And so I still have that bottle and sitting there. My brother bought it for $250. You know, we all paid him. He turned around and sold one of them right away for $700, like the day after. Today they go for $5,000, and it's not even a full bottle. It's like it's a pint. It's 375.
So you opened it and drank some out of it?
No, because it tastes like regular Maker's Mark.
We said it's half empty.
No.
Is it?
I said it's half a bottle.
Oh.
It's a 375 milliliters, not a 750. And it's probably worth $5,000.
So it's your favorite because it has sentimental value.
It's my favorite because there's only 50, and the Torbey family own basically 7% of all the bottles, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot.
But it's not your favorite because you like the taste of it.
Nah, I mean, I don't. I've never been a big fan of Maker's Mark till they tweaked their system and they came out with all these.
Yeah, the Private Select is another level.
That now they got the cedar. What is it? The cellar aged.
Yeah, cellar aged.
Oh my God,
That's your favorite, I think. Right?
It's not my favorite. I've never had it. I don't know if it's
come
good.
to the house.
It's really good.
I have 2 2023s and a 2024.
Sorry.
You know, I have like 800 bottles of whiskey, right?
No.
And I probably always keep 60 to 70 bottles open.
I probably have 8.
Yeah,
you have
my collection's
actually,
ridiculous.
between the both of you now, you have a very private selection, which is awesome, and you have a very public selection that's awesome. So go Parks, right? The Parks is awesome. What else? So here's the other thing I want to ask you is that what caused the explosion of the bourbon interest? Because all of a sudden, come on.
What is that?
Right?
Who's that guy that passed away? He used to go around the world trying stuff, and he tried Pappy 23, and he's like, oh my God, this is the best thing
Anthony
ever.
Bourdain?
Anthony Bourdain.
Oh boy.
Changed.
Really?
Yep.
He's the person that is responsible for the bourbon
In my opinion,
explosion.
In my opinion.
Because I would not associate him with that.
Yep, because he tried some Pappy 23, and he said, oh my God, this is the most amazing liquor, whiskey, whatever I've ever had in my life. And all of a sudden, and that's probably like 2008 or 9 or 10, maybe 12, whenever it was. Because back in the day, Pappy 23 would sit on the shelf. You walk in anytime you want, and you buy 10 of them if you want, because they would just sit on the shelf. Nobody would buy them. You buy them. Oh my God, it's so good. I'm gonna go back and get another one.
That's what I mean. It's like we've all been walking past bourbon on the shelves for year after year. We don't even know.
Now that COVID's over
at.
and everybody's got their government checks are gone, the price of bourbon is starting to come back down. It's come back to normalizing.
So one of the things I want to do is you got to put a little bit more bourbon in that glass right there. I need you to walk us through how do you properly sample a taste of bourbon.
Any way you want,
man.
No, there's a way.
Any way you want, man.
You know what I'm talking about.
So it's called. So there's if whoever's listening, you get online and you find this show called Bourbon Tucky, and if you watch,
Neat's good.
Neat's very good. Bourbon Tucky though talks about that bottle that I just said that we had and we sold. at that time, that bottle, they're like, oh my God, it's $450 and now it's going for 15 grand. Well, today it's going for over 40. But really what you do is one nostril, the next nostril, mouth open, then you got the Kentucky Chew, then you got the, like, you take a sip, you gargle it, that's a Kentucky Chew. Then you got the Kentucky Burn. I mean, you just...
The Kentucky Kiss.
Well, yeah, the Kentucky Kiss. So what a lot of people say is you drink it however the hell you want, is my opinion, and you drink it any way damn you want. If you buy it and you buy a Happy 23 and you want to mix it with Diet fucking Coke, if you paid for it, do it, then that's what it is. Because at the end of the day, the best way to drink bourbon is any damn way you want. The best old-fashioned, in my opinion, my brother taught me this. The best old-fashioned, when someone says, what's your favorite old-fashioned? My favorite old-fashioned is give me a glass, pour the bourbon in there, and I'll sip it that way. That's the best old-fashioned. But
yeah,
seriously, like, I like it neat. Every once in a while, depending, like, I like it hot. I like the heat.
Yeah. Is there a cigar that you love to pair with a bourbon? Anybody?
Man, my Opus X.
You were smoking some cigars for a while, and you kind of backed off, yes?
Yeah, not so much anymore.
Mine is, for me, is Opus X and Romeo Juliet's.
Yeah,
and
that's good.
The reason I do Romeo Juliet's is my mom's name was Juliet. My dad's name was Ramos, but everybody called him Romeo. So Romeo and Juliet's and the Opus X are my favorite things to pair with bourbon.
And there you go, folks. So we've had a great time having you on the show. We've loved talking about our friendship, the entrepreneurship, and which is really, a spirit of America. I really appreciate putting that through on our show tonight. And the fact that we've had almost a full bottle of Maker's Mark Private Select, the biscuit, which, we recommend. Yes? No?
Yeah, man,
yes?
good.
It's really good. Thank you guys for being on the show tonight. And remember, Original Firefighter, the podcast, is here for your off days. OriginalFirefighter.com is here for your off days. Thank you so much and be safe out there. Good night.